Martin Popoff from the Contrarians here, back again with another episode of Reliving Old Reviews is a Useless Tool of Confusion. That's a Pantera quote. We all of us working for Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles just laughed out loud when we heard that line. We love that. To picture Pantera sitting there reading their reviews and reading them over again. It's a neat image. And it's we loved Pantera to death. We wrote about them a lot, interviewed them a lot. It was very cool. Had them on the cover all the time. But anyways, so this is the show within our show where we look at an old review and see if the writer got it right. You know, these albums grow in stature over time. We've all yapped about them many, many, many times. But let's see what the yapping was right there at the time. So we are looking at a review from the New Musical Express from the UK, one of the great, was it weekly, bi-weekly? I don't know what it was. All these great entertainment newspapers they had in the UK, Sounds, Melody Maker, Record Mirror, right? November 20th, 1976, a review by Charles Shar Murray, a legend in this business, of Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy. So let's see what Charles has to say and whether he gets it right about this album. Yeah, we all have a lot of conflicting views about Black Sabbath at this time. I remember getting this album and finding it kind of depressing and murky and kind of like self-defeating or defeated, but I love it now. I love it over time. I mean, I quite liked it at the time as well. I love Never Say Die as well, of course. But okay, let's see what he has to say. Couple of weekends ago, I saw this TV play about a mysterious and gruesome legendary monster that was terrorizing this pregnant woman in a remote village where nobody but her believed that the thingy ever existed. In the supposed climactic final sequence, the monster is finally revealed, and it looks like a big heap of black cellophane garbage bags dumped in a corner and going proot, proot, proot in what the director obviously hoped was a thoroughly terrifying manner. I never like these reviews that take a lot of time away from the review, and it's kind of more about the writing, and they're kind of building up a point, but they're running out of real estate, and they've used up a lot of real estate already. So these very conceptual reviews, I've never been a big fan of them, because right now a third of the review is over, and that's all we've heard so far, right? But he looks like he's going to get to the point here. The Sabs are still going proot, proot, proot with considerable gusto, but unfortunately, they don't seem very convincing at the moment. That was a key point about Technical Ecstasy. How convincing are Sabbath at this point? There's the idea that, Geisler sardonically, as he said, Lebel didn't like us anymore. They didn't pay attention. Everybody was ignoring us and blah, blah, blah. And, they're going out at this time with Boston supporting them. Boston's blowing them off the stage, and that album is taken off like crazy. Then they come to Never Say Die, and they've got Van Halen backing them up, and their album's blowing up, and they're amazing live and the whole bit, right? So it's funny. It's like the poor me time for Black Sabbath, but and I love this album, but we definitely noticed that with things like Rock and Roll Doctor and Backstreet Kids and She's Gone. So it was less crazy and weird and science fiction-y and creative, and they were trying to participate, right? So that was kind of the feel. I love the album cover. The album cover is still crazy eccentric Black Sabbath, right? Hypnosis. Okay. There's still a ferocious crackle of energy when they launch into Backstreet Kids, or All Moving Parts Stand Still, and Bill Ward's drumming and Tony Iommi's guitar are nicely crisp and frenetic, but they seem to have been tamed by the years. Their irresistible flailing monomania softened and subdued. The teeth-gratingly banal keyboard parts don't help at all. So the production's incredible, and we can thank Tony for that. And man, does this album crack open with Backstreet Kids. I mean, that is, it's just right on to the major galloping beat. Incredible drum sound. What a groove out of Bill. I love the keyboards on this. Good old Jez Woodruff. I think the keyboards are great all over the album. I think it's just a masterpiece of an album. Just love it to death. The lyrics to songs like Backstreet Kids and You Won't Change Me sound like Ozzy, spelt wrong, i.e., and his crew were trying harder to convince themselves that their listeners, than their listeners, that they're still going to be Backstreet Kids till they die. and they won't lose that touch. But these days, there are backstreet voices that carry more conviction and authority and authenticity, voices that speak out of defiance rather than a need to be accepted by others and convinced by oneself. Maybe he's referring to punks there, right? What is this? November 76. So yeah, punk has been raging all year. This, by the way, has been the super heat wave drought summer in Britain, where the temperatures were like super high all through like June and July. And I think it came back in August or something. So this is that Britain's famous heat wave summer. Punk was massive. So there's a whole paragraph that's like hinting that the punks are much more authentic than Black Sabbath, and how can Black Sabbath be Backstreet Kids? It is kind of hard to think of them as Backstreet Kids, being up into album 7 at this point and being kind of like elder statesman sort of thing. So yeah, that does kind of rankle. Okay, and then he goes, for reference, Rock and Roll Doctor is not, repeat not, the classic Little Feat song, and Dirty Women isn't nearly as exciting as the title would suggest. Neither, for that matter, is the album itself. Proot, 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 Charles Shar Murray. So that's the end of the review. And funny, he compares Rock and Roll Doctor, saying it's not the Little Feat song, which is a great song in itself, of course, as well. And Dirty Women is a super exciting song. I think it's great. I think Gypsy is amazing on this album as well. I think Bill's I'm All Right is really cool. So yeah, he's finding the album not very exciting. And yeah, you can understand the sense of malaise. If you're not a massive Black Sabbath fan, your bar is going to be a little higher for acceptance. And this was an album that definitely had that feeling of, like I say, deflation to it. But I think it's an incredible album, beautifully recorded as well. So there you go. This has been another Reliving Old Reviews as a Useless Tool of Confusion. Please like if you like this, if you liked my review of Charles's review, what you thought of Charles's review itself. And subscribe, all that good stuff. Always trying to get our numbers up. Comment. I go read the comments. I probably will comment back to you if you comment there. And there you go. Join our Patreon if you want to be part of our panels. Go listen to some Black Sabbath. Go listen to some Technical Ecstasy.